Okay, so I may have found an interesting solution to a problem nobody had, and that is a way to expand the size of the Coriva beyond the one large block size limit of the corridor, which sounds insane because how can you build through a block? And the answer is connectors. And I don't know if there's any block in the game before the corridor, but turns out now with the corridor block, there is a block in the game that you can connect your connectors with. And these connectors do not take damage. The corridor does not take damage. And you can have, whatever you want on this. Because of the way the Coriva is set up, it's really resistant to the twisting force, so it can have a pretty heavy load on there, no problem. And you can see here, all I've got is a couple rotors to space it out nicely. I did try with a second connector. That does not work. You can only have one point of connection. If you over constrain it, then you just it's not a good time. But yeah, you can see it's connected through that, and if we go in here and turn off the brakes, let's go into spectator cam, and you can see that if we move at a reasonable speed, I think it's about 10 or 12 to 15 meters per second is good. If you go any faster, the connector does start to take damage, or if you abruptly stop and then instantly just fling yourself the next way. So you can see it kind of looks like the connector is taking damage, and if you go fast enough, it will take damage. And you can see it goes right over open block spaces. So you can actually drive the Coriva right outside the track. You can see there is a tilt, and basically all the suspensions are just kind of compensating for that tilt, because on this case I've got it all anchored to one side with a very heavy weight. But the train copes with it just fine. But see here, if we go over here, no damage. And I guess I can break a block and show you no damage. So it's kind of an interesting idea. It opens up the capacity to either use this as like the self-building core for something. So like you could have a superstructure of some sort where you build this and then you attach an extra welder array or drilling array or whatever that runs down the track and then does a second tool pass, does it, stuff like that. Or you could build this as your transit system between two bases, and you could actually just drive a rover up to the passageway rover, connect it up to the connector, and just take the tram and it'll just bring your rover with it, or your spaceship or whatever. It's kind of a neat idea, and it's basically turns this whole Coriva setup into like a buildable linear rail that can span a pretty damn long distance. But let's see, I'm curious what happens. I don't think I've tried to run a station. See what happens when it gets into station. But yeah, this is just kind of a random idea that occurred to me because I had previously been messing with connectors on another project but didn't have much fruition with anything. And I think maybe you could have done this with steel plates, but the problem with steel plates is it didn't give you the other 4 walls that you needed. Oh, you know what? This might slam. Actually, I'm confident it will. I can't get out. Uh-oh. Stop. I want to actually give this a chance at succeeding, and I know it's just going to slam into this. This is just a test platform. Oh, it doesn't actually matter over here. Where is it? Oh. Well, as you can see, it even took out half the batteries there against something, and it didn't affect the train, which is come again. Why did we stop? That's weird. There's another bug I've had with just a single cart. If we go over here, you can see if you just have a single cart, when it hits the slow zone, it would stop, which is exactly what it's done here. So as soon as it hit the slow zone, it stopped. So I think they might be linked. I'm not exactly sure what's causing it. I might need to tweak my slow action block. But yeah, anyways, that's the idea. Bigger on the outside.